We're going to take a look at the NeuLog sensors that we have available for us for chemistry. This semester, we're going to be using these sensors for several experiments to record either the pH or temperature or possibly both. So in order to use these, the first thing that you'll need is to get the correct sensors. And the type of sensor is listed on the side. There's the USB module, which that is what has to interact with the computer, and we will always use this. And then there's the individual sensors. There's the pH sensor, and then there's the temperature sensor. And so you'll just unbox the sensor and then put the box out of the way. The USB sensor comes with the connection that you're going to be using. And all it is, it looks like a cartridge. So you're going to lay this out and connect the USB sensor to the computer. Then you'll open whichever other sensor that you'll be using. So this is the pH probe. So the pH probe, it's stored inside of it is a solution, and it's stored inside of a solution. And so you want to leave it in there until you're ready. But you just take its cartridge. You're going to kind of untangle the cord, lay it down carefully, and just attach the pH cartridge to the USB cartridge. And then if we use the temperature sensor, you're going to take it out, and it is just a wire, and the end of the wire is where the temperature sensor is. So you're going to untangle it, straighten out the cord, and then attach the temperature sensor. So now we have all three cartridges in a row, and then it's attached to the computer. These computers that we're going to be using are the ones that are here in the chemistry lab because the correct software is already loaded. And so you're just going to log in to the computer using your password and username. Okay, and you're going to come over and choose the app for the NeuLog. So it's initiating now, and it recognizes that we have a temperature sensor and a pH sensor on it. You want to click on each of these to see what kind of parameters. And so you want to be sure that it's in Celsius. We want a duration of 2 minutes, which is already set. But if you want to change the duration, you click on it, and over here you choose the time interval. So you can choose seconds, minutes, hours. We're just going to do a quick 2 minute. And so you just choose 2 a minute. And for rate, it can take a lot of measurements. We're just going to do 5 temperature recordings per second. And then you click on the pH, and you make sure that range is 0 to 14. We're doing a 2 minute duration again, and 5 recordings per second. So once the probes are in with the correct parameters, then you go back out to the main menu. And we don't want to hit run experiment yet because this experiment is not set up. And we're just going to do a quick experiment just to see if we can take readings. And so we're going to just take some sulfuric acid, and we're going to measure out about 15 to 20 milliliters in the beaker. And since we're going to be doing an acid-base reaction, you want to be able to stir it, and you don't want to use our pH probe or our temperature sensor. So we're going to drop one of the magnetic stir bars on it, and we're going to place it directly on the hot plate, and you want to put it in the center, and you'll turn the stirring knob on until you can see that it is stirring. Then we're going to measure out some sodium hydroxide solution. So we got the acid, sulfuric acid in there, sodium hydroxide, we measure it out in the graduated cylinder. And we're going to add it dropwise, so we're just going to use a plastic dropper. So we've got this ready. Now we want to set this up so that our cartridges in our reaction kind of out of the way from each other. And so you want to just set these kind of behind the computer, but make sure that none of the cords are going to go into the sink. And then we're going to use a ring stand, and we can place the hot plate directly onto the ring stand so we can line everything up. And I've got a clamp, and we're just going to lower the clamp. And I'm going to go ahead and take the probe out of the storage solution. And then I'm going to place the little storage solution up on the counters to make sure, because I don't want to get it, we don't want to have it spill. And so you're just going to clamp. I'm clamping where the cap is, because this is made out of glass and it's real fragile, so we don't want to have anything happen to this. So you want to lower the pH probe. I need to move this around so that it's not in the way of the stir bar. Okay, so I've got this submerged. So turn this around so we can just gently stir in it. And then I want to place the temperature sensor, so I'm just going to thread it through the clamp also and place it right next to it. And this is just a wire. So I'm going to dip that down in there. Okay, so once that's set up, then I'm going to go back over to my display. And there's a run experiment here. This will start that 2-minute experiment. So right now, if I hit run experiment, it says 10 seconds. I don't want a 10-second experiment. I want a 2-minute. So I'm going to click and change this to 2 minutes. And so once the experiment, I already set the parameters for the probes. When you hit run experiment, you also have to set those at a rate of, we just want to do 5 recordings per second. Once you're ready, then you're just going to hit record. And then once it starts recording, if you don't want to show it in a graph form, you can show it in table form. So I'll just put it, you can do it in table form instead. But this is recording 2 different pieces of data. Then you want to start adding your base. So as you add your base, your pH should start to increase once you add enough. And acid-base reactions are exothermic, so that should also cause the temperature to rise. So all of a sudden, the purple line has gone up. That is the pH, but it leveled back out because it's being stirred. The pH is still going, it's going up, it's being stirred. And you'll just continue to add the base and record it until it's over, or if you feel like you're done, then you can just hit stop. And you can look at the information as a table, so you can see what the actual values were. And you can see the temperatures, and you can see if they've changed at all. You can scroll through it. and you can export the data. So you'll save it and then you'll send it to yourself, and you want to send both the graph and the table information, and you'll insert that. But this is just going to be a real quick way for us to practice setting this up, and we'll be using this for a few of our experiments later on in the semester.